Why am I always big physically despite my efforts? Don't you dare feel discouraged. It sounds to me like you're taking really good care of yourself. It'll pay off when you're my age. 54. And you're healthier than all your homies. Keep up the good work. You're discouraged, but I think you're sort of an inspiration. Fat is primarily stored around the belly region. Doing abs will work on the muscle but not the fat. If you want to lose fat, there's only one way. Calorie deficit. You need to track your calories intake, then lower it step by step until you are in deficit. Your body will use the stored fat to compensate for the deficit. Exercising is good because it increases the calories you burn and it develops muscles which use also more calories. But it stays a mathematical rule for fat. You eat more kcal than you burn, it becomes fat. You eat less, you use stored fat. Hope it helps. Edit. Typos. Most of the people on here have already given great advice, so I don't need to add to it. I just want to say that don't get discouraged. Having an idealized body is not something that normally happens. Especially for us that actually have lives to lead. You keep doing what you're doing and remember your health is vastly more important than aesthetics. Ab exercises only strengthen your ab muscles but don't help with burning fat specifically on your tummy. You're gonna lose fat wherever your body decides, unfortunately. That said, while you may eat a healthy diet, you may still be eating more calories than you think. So this may be the reason you're not losing the fat as much as you want. Exercise is good. Don't be discouraged to stop it, but most workouts burn a lot less calories than you think, and a lot of meals have a lot more calories than you think also. Add to that the fact that many people are more hungry after exercising, and often this means that weight loss doesn't really happen as much as expected. I know for me I need to really restrict calories in order to lose any weight. Exercise or not. Otherwise I just gain muscle but don't lose fat. It does suck, since dieting is really exhausting and no fun at all. Of course, as others have mentioned, it could be something else too. But if you haven't been too observant of your calorie intake, I suspect this may be the culprit. To lose weight you need to have a calorie deficit. It's simple, though certainly not easy. My man, if you have muscles and not fat, what are you worried about? That's called being fit. You lose weight from extremities to midsection. You will lose weight in your face, arms and legs before you lose belly fat. Stomach fat is the last to go. It's possible to gain weight eating healthy foods. Look up macros calculator online to make sure you're eating a good balance of the right foods. Hi. I hope this doesn't come off wrong, because I'm not trying to be rude or say you're intentionally lying. But I've personally encountered a lot of people who say they don't eat that much, but are actually eating way more than they think. Especially if you're an American. Not much by American standards is still way too much in most cases. I suggest actually counting your calories. Every single one. A piece of candy counts. A couple of chips counts. You get the point. You may be eating more than you think. I am thin. BMI of 20. I eat healthy. Have a very active job and do workouts at home every second day for 45 minutes. Yet my belly looks like I am pregnant, while the rest of my body is thin. I think belly fat is genetically to a certain degree. For some it's more difficult to lose it than others. I am honestly just too lazy to start gym. In addition to all the other comments, try spending a week tracking everything you eat, including water, as well as how much of it you eat. I used to think I didn't eat much. Turns out I don't eat often. Also, consider if you are even actually large. I would recommend seeing a nutritionist, as they can best tell you what you can do differently. Genetics. I climb hard for several hours a week. Yet it's the hiking or biking on the weekend that probably loses the weight. The water weight is what shows up immediately after. Long, steady energy consumption, but it won't build any fancy muscles. Hiking is especially nice because it takes so long to get anywhere that you might forget a meal in between. Gives me audiobook and self-critiquing time as well. Just have to remember to aim for a quality meal rather than quantity afterwards. Another way to anchor your efforts is to find an exercise hobby you actually enjoy enough to want to do better at. Everything else is then a means to that end. Lifting weights bores me, but if I think it'll improve my climbing, suddenly I'm all for it. Aren't some of us just made in different sizes? There's a lot to take in consideration for this. Firstly, genetics. Some people are just bigger than others while being healthy. And that's okay. You can still try to lose some weight if it's important to you. Maybe you're bigger because of genetics. Maybe your calories intake is more than you realize. Then, your weight loss rely on one principle: the calories deficit. It means your body need to burn more calories than you consume. For an adult male, the normal calories intake is 2,500 kilocalories. So if you're around 20,002,200 a day, you're good for weight loss. I still wouldn't advise to track your calories extremely precisely, as it will be more difficult to have cheat meals without guilt. What worked for me was to maintain the deficit in average over a week. Some days I would eat for 2,000 kilocalories. Some days 2,500. But whatever works for you is good. Then the workout. If your goal is to lose your fat, then almost any exercise is good. You will burn calories, and it will increase your deficit. Some are more efficient than others though. And if you build muscle, you may not see a difference in your weight on the scale, even though you're losing fat. Again, whatever works for you. Finally, if you decide to start a diet and lose your weight, I would advise you to be very careful with your diet. Take it slow and easy. It can be easy to develop some serious eating disorder if you make it too hard. I'm sorry if I gave too much unsolicited advice. I'm going through a weight loss myself, so I thought I could share what I know about it. Good luck. There is no way to spot reduce fat. Putting hours per week on an exercises is not gonna get rid of your belly fat quicker. Quite the opposite. You see, the muscles in our core are quite small, and this require less energy to build, maintain and use. Better is to do large compound movements, such as rows, squats, presses, etc. This activates more muscles, resulting in more calories used, and thus more fat burned. If you stay in a caloric deficit, you will lose fat. But if you stay at around 0 in deficit and work out, you will transform that fat into muscles, making the fat you have left on your body less noticeable. Some people are just like this. As long as your weight isn't giving you any problems and you're eating healthy and getting exercise, you're fine. I don't eat that much. You eat far more than you think. Most people do. You can work your abs 1500x times a week. Working out a region equals losing fat in that region. The body doesn't work that way. Stay in a calorie deficit, keep your proteins. That way you don't lose your muscle mass. And you will notice that it's more defined. Track what you eat for a week to get a general idea how many kcal you actually consume. Then use a calculator, TDEE, for maintenance weight to get a general idea how much you should eat to keep your weight. From there you can do a 200,500 cal deficit. Different people's metabolisms are different. If you eat right and exercise, you really shouldn't care about that weight. Developing an eating disorder to fight it will be far worse for your health and with worse weight outcomes. Don't change a thing. It's not about eating healthy, it's about cutting calories if you want to lose weight. Genetics count for a lot. Medication also can play a huge role. Also, it can take a long time to see results. How long have you been dieting, trying? Have you been counting calories?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.